know that feeling when you realize that your life timeline isn't exactly going as planned? I thought by now I'd either have kids or at least working towards having kids. Instead, I'm Googling egg freezing at 1 a.m. trying to figure out how much time I have left. If you ever wondered whether freezing your eggs is worth it or where to even start, you're not alone. Let's talk about what I've learned so far. Here's the thing. I never thought I'd be here. Freezing my eggs isn't exactly something that anyone talked to me about in high school, or anyone, our generation. No one talked about freezing your eggs. But as I get older, I started realizing that biology doesn't really wait for us to be ready. I love my life and I love my independence, and I'm really picky when it comes to dating. Not to say that I've done some, wasn't always, I tried not to be picky, but anyways, back to picky. I'd like to say that I didn't meet Mr. Right. I promise you, I tried, and we can talk about this in a separate video. But becoming and reaching, I'm 38, about to turn 39. I don't think I have the privilege of waiting on Mr. Right anymore. And becoming a mother is something I always wanted. People told me over the years, the right one will come, you're still too young, or the urge will go away. But here I am, 38, didn't meet the right one yet. I don't know if I ever will. The urge of becoming a mother never went away. It's even more present than ever. And I'm not saying that everyone should opt for egg freezing, but I'm saying it's really a good option to learn about and understand. If you're even remotely thinking about kids someday and you're in your 30s, it's worth knowing what your options are before they become limited. I wish someone talked to me about it earlier, but I'd like to share my journey and share it and go on this journey with you, or anyone who's going through this journey as well. And I have to say, egg freezing is not really about guaranteeing anything. It's more about having a little bit more time to figure things as they go, instead of feeling rushed. I don't want to be like, just want to get pregnant now with whoever and how it goes. I think if it comes down to this, I will, but for now, I'd like to understand my options and work with whatever available for me now, given the science we have. And it's 2025, and I believe I have the means. It's still very challenging financially, but I'm working towards saving and I'm trying to do my best here. Or what I'm saying is, I'm happy about exploring this, and I wish I did it earlier, and I'm here to share it with you all. So what I've learned so far. I've been on this journey for couple of years. I have to say I started thinking about it since I turned 35, but there was always hesitation. I didn't have enough information. I was still trying to make it work, dating and finding the right person so that this kid I have one day would be around, or I also thought that I'll always be okay, I could freeze my eggs or anything. But what I've learned is that timing matters. Yes, you could freeze your egg anytime once you turn 30, but there's so many elements that go into it. And the older you get, the egg quality declines over time, which means waiting too long can make the process less effective or require multiple rounds. And we know how expensive those rounds are. The second thing I learned is cost are a lot. And that was maybe the not number one, but second to number one of hesitation. How am I going to pay for this, or how I'm going to afford it? And it's really not cheap. A single cycle could cost somewhere between 10 to 20K, and that doesn't even include the storage fees. And from what I learned and what I read online, the storage fees kind of get expensive over time. It doesn't get cheaper. I was hoping that my job would cover it, but I didn't get lucky with a job that could cover such expense. So I still have to pay for it from my own pocket. The third thing I'm really worried about, and I've been reading a lot from other women who went through this journey, is the hormones. I haven't started hormone injection yet because this is something you do once you start your cycle. Right now where I am is I'm priming my ovaries, I'm getting ready for the cycle, and this is because I want to maximize the number of eggs I get, and also decide if I will only freeze my eggs or I will opt for sperm donor and freeze an embryo. We'll get to this into a moment. So yes, the hormones is really something I'm not excited about. It's the physical process and the emotions that goes into it. And I have to say, there's a lot of grieving in making this decision right now, and I'm really worried about how the hormones are gonna like maybe bring all those like tough emotions that I think I've handled so far, or at least most of it. But let's see. Number 4 is not every clinic is the same. So I did see a clinic a couple of years ago, and it wasn't a good experience. It was more of the specialist was constantly talking to me about how limited my options are, even though I haven't tried to conceive and I didn't get pregnant. So there's no track record to say I cannot get pregnant other than data and my age bracket. And I thought, I was like, okay, I'll just let it turn. Every time I would come home, I would just cry. And that was really tough. And for different reasons, I had to put this on hold at the time because I was between jobs. I was trying to figure some personal issues in my life. And once this was resolved, I was like, okay, let me try again. But I had so much hesitation because the experience was really not good. And I was so scared. I just didn't want to sit in the room again where someone to tell me like how impossible it will be for me to have kids one day. And yes, I know the data and it's tough, but like, let's try and like have it. And they understand they're trying to set the expectations, but it just really wasn't a good experience, and I wish she handled it differently. But I'm glad that eventually I made the decision to go and see another clinic. I'm really happy with the clinic where I chose right now. It's kind of like an hour away. I live in San Diego and the clinic is in Orange County. And that's because of the cost. All the clinics I have around San Diego are really expensive. I chose this one in Orange County because they have bundles and more options and payment plans. So my advice is get the consultation appointment, see how you feel about this clinic. Is this the place where you're comfortable going through this emotionally inducing journey or not? And then, of course, doing it solo. I am single, I'm here by myself, I have no family around. And I used to be this person who would power through life like, I'll do it all by myself. And I did. I'm really good at doing things myself. However, this past year taught me that community is important. And number one reason that got me on track again with this journey is reading through Facebook groups and finding communities, Reddits, and all of that, and hearing about success stories kind of gave me hope. And I was like, you know what, screw this other clinic. I'll just go find a new one and still explore what my options are. So don't let anyone bring you down. There's so many negative emotions out there when people talk to women over 35. It's like as if like we're not, the goods are not good anymore because you're over 35. And that's not true. There are women who are conceiving in their 40s even now. Is it challenging? Yes. And until you've tried to conceive and it didn't work, I think anything can possible. Like no one should tell us because of your age. Yes, I mean, I love data and I respect data and they always tell a story. However, it's not an absolute truth. There are also some stuff I'm learning since I embarked on this journey now, and it's kind of like a myth and the truth and the, like, to give you an example, there is this myth that if you freeze your eggs, you can always use them. You can have a baby later. Unfortunately, that's not the truth. Yes, it increases the chances, but there are no guarantees. Success rate depend on egg quality, the freezing process, and how your body responds when you're ready to use them. Another myth is you only need one cycle, and I think that's usually people say that to justify the cost or make it easier, and I wish that was the case. I hope that this is the case for me, but I'm signing up for 3 cycles because of my age bracket. So as we know, as you get older, the quality of egg declines, and also from everything I read and the other women who've been through this journey, that most of the time the first round is kind of like a learning curve, like how your body responds to the hormones, the stimulation. Should we do more? Should we do less? And most people, if you don't get the number of eggs you're looking for from the first round, they get it from the second and third round. But another myth is it's just like IVF but without the embryo transfer. And yes, that's true to the stimulation, like the egg extraction and the hormone injection, and the egg retrieval and the hormone injection. However, with IVF, they immediately fertilize the egg and freeze an embryo. And embryos freeze better than eggs because they have cells. So the chances of, let's say you froze 10 eggs versus freezing 10 embryos, which is a very optimistic number from me, is when you thaw them, the eggs don't thaw as good. So if you freeze, let's say 10 eggs, maybe 7 would thaw and they would be of a good quality. But if you freeze 10 embryos, chances are you can use and transfer the 10 embryos in the future. So it's a very, very big differentiation. Another myth I'm coming to learn as going on this journey is you'll have a ton of time once you freeze your eggs, and it's not true, because of course the egg quality is the most important things, but eggs don't last forever. While they can be stored for years, the viability depends on factors like the age at retrieval and clinic storage methods, and also like over 40 there's a higher chance of miscarriage. I think it's the higher chance of miscarriage starts after 35. So it would be a shame to freeze your eggs and have a viable egg and the transfer into an embryo, but then you end up getting a miscarriage, because the higher the age is, unfortunately, the older the age is, unfortunately the higher chances of miscarriage. So what's next for me? Right now I'm 6 weeks into my preparation phase. I've been taking supplements. I've done most of my tests. I'm waiting on one test I need to do. It's called HSG, and that's to check if there's any blockage within my fallopian tubes. It's kind of challenging of a test because you have to do it on day 7 or 10 of the cycle, so you can only book it once you have your cycle. So you have to call the clinic and be like, hey, I got my period, can I come and do the test? And they'll be like, oh, we have a booking or not. I did actually have a booking for last week, but the scheduler kept telling me on the phone that it's day 7 or 10 after your period ends, and I was very confident this is wrong. However, I believed her because she's the professional one here, and unfortunately, it turns that I was right. It's day 7 or 10 after your cycle starts, which means the first day of the period, first day of the bleeding. So we have to reschedule, meaning I have to wait another month for the next cycle. It's a bit of a bummer, but it is what it is. So once I have this test done, I'll have all my tests and I'll continue to prime my ovaries until I'm hoping I can have my first round of egg retrieval in mid-April. But here's what I know. I'd rather have options than regrets. And if freezing my eggs, or if I decide to freeze an embryo, give me a little bit more flexibility for the future, it's worth exploring. I'm not ready to get pregnant today, and it's mostly for financial reasons and career-wise. I hope that if all goes well with those rounds of egg retrieval or embryo freezing, that I would like to get pregnant early next year. So if you've frozen your eggs, or if you're also considering it, I'd love to hear from you. What helped you decide? What surprised you? Drop a comment below. I know I'm not the only one figuring this out, and if you want more real talk about life, career, and all the unexpected twists, hit the subscribe. We're navigating this together.